I guess just then is the official end of training camp. Can you just give us a little bit of overview of the last 2 weeks and what's it like to finally be here?
Yeah, it's been a great training camp. It almost just feels like it's season already. Like I've been in other camps where it's like, all right, this is a training camp session. We got to get through the, ugliness. But from the start, this training camp, I feel like everybody's been so locked in. We've had incredible players that have been able to help us get better. And now that we have our group, obviously still waiting on Elizabeth.
Mm-hmm.
We miss her very much. But I feel like we've gotten a lot of really good things in. We've covered a lot. And now we're excited to get to the games.
How has that familiarity with everybody kind of come along? Did like building that chemistry?
Yeah.
Obviously, folks that you were familiar with, but at the same time, this is a new roster, playing new ways.
Yeah.
How's that part of it coming along?
I think that's come along quickly. I think even quicker than I expected. Yes, many of us have played together, but you don't always know when you've taken 2 years apart and you've gone and played on different teams and in different systems, how well it'll come back together. But I do feel like we picked up on it very quickly. Maybe we had some awkwardness first few days, but yeah, I feel like we're clicking, we're communicating. That's huge because even when stuff gets messy or ugly, if you can talk through it, you can make something pretty out of something ugly. So hopefully that's what tomorrow will look like at times.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Are there emotions, I guess, prior to the first game? You've been playing well, but are there still, I guess, emotions for you all, or?
This whole training camp has been the same prep. I do the same stuff every day. I do my meditations, and I try not to make any day feel much different than prior days. I try to prepare the same, and even getting a preseason game under my belt certainly helped. Just being able to play on that court again, having some fans in the stadium. So I try not to make anything too big. It's a game. We want to obviously win the game. We want to play as best as we can. And then we also know we've got a ways to go, and we don't want to be perfect first night. You want to peak at the right time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Looking back at the games you played last season before you decided to shut it down,
Mm-hmm.
and then getting set for tomorrow, if you can share kind of your mindset, if it's different then versus now as you prepare for tomorrow.
It's definitely different. I don't have nerve pain right now. I knew last season when I was coming back, I was testing some things, but there was a lot I was still trying to work through pain-wise, where this year I don't have as much. I don't have that. Obviously, my body is still reacting in different ways when I'm adding new things, like maybe my calf gets a little tight, or maybe I need to stretch my hips after practice, but I feel like we've gotten through a great system of after practice, going through stretching, cold tub, warm tub, all of that. I've been able to feel really good the next day, where last season I didn't always have that. And then also learning from last season. I played, and then I didn't play anymore. So being smart. It's unfortunately a very condensed season. That's not great for me. It's really not great for anyone, but just being smart and planning things out, and knowing I don't need to conquer everything in the first month.
Elena, what was it like after that first preseason game for you in terms of how your body felt, how your rhythm felt on the floor?
It felt really good. I knew everything I've done to prepare, and you hope that all that work pays off, but sometimes you never know, and who knows? There's some ugly games, there's some beautiful games where you're in the zone, and there's games where you can't get calibrated and you got to figure out other ways to get it done. So I've been playing this game for so long, you got to be able to understand that about yourself and about the team, and I was excited to see that things were flowing really well, and then also having the knowledge of each game is going to be different. Each team coming in here will be different and a new challenge, but a fun challenge.
Would it be okay if I could backtrack? You were saying how you were trying to do things in smaller increments. So how do you get yourself, because sometimes the brain could work very fast. Is there something like you were saying with the meditation that could get you to slow yourself down a little bit?
Yeah, certainly meditation helps me be much more present in the moment, and trying not to hold on to past plays, and allowing myself to be present in that one play, and also not worrying about the future plays. So meditation has been massive in my development as just a human being, and I do feel like it helps me a lot on the court too.
Elena, I know that Shakira was looking forward to playing with you and being
Yeah.
under your leadership. What have you seen from her throughout this training camp that has impressed you?
I think the biggest thing that I like to see with her is a hunger to get better and to keep learning. Like that's what you want to see out of a young player who's already super talented. So seeing every day her getting extra work in before and even sometimes after practice, or being in the weight room and getting after it, like you can see she's just trying to grow and take everything in as it comes. And when she plays, like just keeping things simple and being herself, like she can really alter shots with her defense and her rebounding, and then obviously offensively she's super versatile as well.
How do you kind of live in the moment with regard to the way that you all may win games tomorrow probably won't be the way you win games 3 months from now? You know, as
Yeah.
the team as this thing evolves during the season.
I think you hope though to see a constant and like things that you fall back on all the time that we should have now that will continue to get better as the season goes, hopefully. But you should see certain things like sharing the ball, playing side to side offensively, versatility, letting different players play all different positions, so you really can't be scouted, or defensively, getting up on ball handlers. Like certain things should be consistent game to game. Maybe your schemes will change just a little bit, but if you have those baseline things that you do every day in practice and in every game, it should grow.
Hey, Elena, when you look at your body work from this training camp, the preseason game, and just everything up until this point, what have you been most pleased about?
I'm most pleased about the changes I've made in my body and how strong my legs have become. And it's been exciting to see, you know, the different things I can do now on the court, and not allowing people to take my space and being able to own that space because I've got the strength, the knowledge, and the footwork to do so, where before I would rely sometimes on my height or on, you know, just skill at times instead of being able to use this and create space. And I've done just a ton of body work, so I'm excited to use this, you know, newfound strength.
And lastly, with I know a lot of your fans are excited. Just what does it mean to open up the season at home in front of your crowd and just having you back?
That's awesome, just to be home in front of this crowd. I know they've had a couple tough years to go through, we all have. So to be able to start this season off the right way, and to celebrate and have some fun and hopefully put on a great show for them.
You've talked a lot about the last year and a half, 2 years really. Is there something off the floor where not being in pain is so much better now? Just, it could be anything. It could be walking. It could be reaching for a bag of chips at the store. I don't know. Anything.
Yeah, it was probably a year and a half of, maybe even 2 years at times, of just constant pain. So I can't really pick my favorite, but being able to sleep has been great. Being able to go out to dinner with my wife and sit in a chair and not have to get up because I've got stabbing nerve pain down my leg. Those are just some. And being able to walk my dogs again. I used to not be able to hold a leash because I didn't have the strength, it hurt too much. So, you know, getting my life back has been massive.
Elena, with a young team like Indiana, what are you anticipating from that kind of energy? They have 4 rookies starting in their preseason games.
Yeah, I mean, they're super talented, so you know you have that to deal with. You know they're going to be really excited to be playing in their first WNBA game. That's awesome. I'd assume they're going to come out with a heck of a lot of energy, but just making sure that we keep our pace, stay controlled, make the reads we need to make, and hopefully make them pay for that a little bit. There's a lot when you come into this league, like so many new schemes you have to learn, different players you have to learn, so hopefully we stay calm and we keep our pace and don't allow, you know, that excitement to change who we are.
I think we're ready for Zoom, so we'll go over to Jen.
Hey Elena, good to see you healthy and talking to us. The last time you actually got to play in a season opener was in 2018. Going back before you're back with the knee keeping you out in 2019.
Wait, I missed 2019 season opener?
Yep.
Yeah, I looked
News
this up
to
last
me.
night.
Good job. Okay. Great
You had
question.
I think it was related to the knee injury in the 2018 playoffs that held
Yes.
you out a game.
Gotcha.
So just curious how it feels to be finally in a season opener and kind of like looking back on the past 4 years and all you've been through since your last opener. Like what's running through your head right now as I tell you that?
Oh, I didn't even know that it's been so long since the season opener. But no, it's exciting to be able to start the season off with my team feeling great. Being able to get into a flow by also being in practice through preseason, like that's all very important in building a successful team. And the excitement of opening night is always huge. The fans always have like a different energy about them. So I'm thrilled to be a part of it.
And then just wanted to ask you about Maisha and Ariel. Now they're off their rookie deals starting year 5. As you kind of look back on your career with them, where do you think that each of them has grown the most from when they were baby rookies?
So it's funny, I still will think of them as my little rookies, and I think that's never going to change. We'll have a reunion in 30 years and I'll still feel the same about them. But their maturity, both on and off the court, has gained massively, especially in the way that they take care of their bodies and they make sure that they're getting the work on the court, but then they also are here pre-practice getting themselves ready so they can be the best they possibly can in practice, and then even after they're here getting whatever they need so they're ready for the next day. So I've seen a lot of growth in all rounds with them.
Awesome, thank you. See you tomorrow.
Yep, see ya.
That's all the time we have for Elena today. Thank you, Elena.
Tomorrow as the season starts.
I'm sure like 11 other teams, we feel like we had a great camp. I think we're starting to get more connected. That's what I felt this last week is, especially as you get down closer to the roster you're going to have, it's easy for everybody to get more reps together. And, I think we've talked a lot about being the defensive team, and I think, you don't know how the first couple games are going to go, but you can start to see the signs of the group getting on the same page, getting terminology down, and committing themselves to each other on the defensive end. And I think that's probably the thing that we wanted to have, and it's what we feel the most as we're coming out of camp.
I was going to ask about that also. How excited are you? How much versatility do you expect to have on that floor? Not just with, once Elizabeth gets here, you'll have 4 all defensive players on the team, but also players like Maisha and Tiana can guard multiple positions. So I'm just curious about the versatility of what you guys are going to be able to do on that side.
We're excited about it. I don't know if we've gotten to see yet everything that we're going to be able to do. Alicia just in the last week or 10 days is getting something close to looking like herself. Obviously without Elizabeth here yet, and Elena working her way back up. We haven't maybe got to experiment with everything we'll try down the road. But definitely when we put the roster together and as we're watching them play together, you start to see how people can move around, and even a couple times you got to hold a couple of them back. Like, yeah, we see all the things we can do. We just got to make sure we are on the same page now, where we can build the foundation.
With a team like Indiana, with a lot of young players starting, and there are a couple preseason games that they've had, what are you anticipating from what they're going to bring? I mean, Marianne Stanley very well, but how do you feel she is going to utilize those rookies?
Well, they definitely have upgraded their talent. I mean, we kind of talked about that with our team today, is that they're young, but they've had a real infusion of talent onto that roster. I remember when we were young, and you just play with excitement and freedom, and that's like, you're going to have your nights where your experience catches up to you, but they don't know any better, I'm sure, right now. And, Marianne's got, as we know, a ton of experience. She's as tough as they come, and so they're going to play hard. The young ones are going to play hard. They're going to get by on that, I'm sure, for a while they learn the league. So we got to be ready to match that energy level and so our experience hopefully can count.
Coach, what do you think, speaking about the defense, do you think you guys, when everybody's here, are potentially switchable at those positions?
We've talked about that a lot. I mean, I think we are. We're going to have to get into decisions about how much, because we got guards also that are good at playing theirs and bodying over screens. So how much do you just want to give opponents a breather from that matchup by switching? But I think we have bigs that, we're pushing them now to really test themselves, to get their feet out on the court and defend in space. And there'll probably be a mixture for a while. But I think we can be a switchy team. Whether we want to do it all the time or we want to let Shakira and Elizabeth and Elena have their length more near the rim is probably going to be a night-to-night decision based on opponent.
Coach, how do you and the rest of the coaching staff think you're going to manage the emotions? Because it's going to be a highly emotional day with it being the home opener and lots of really great people that'll be there for cheering. So how do you think you'll be able to talk to because you have such a wide range of veterans and rookies and stuff, so managing the emotions for the players?
I don't know if we'll talk too much about managing it. I think maybe harnessing is the better word. We want to play with that emotion. I know our crowd has been waiting a while to have this moment. Our players have been waiting to get back in front of a crowd and play. So hopefully we use that to our advantage and we get back to having the type of home court that we know we can have.
Thank you.
A lot has kind of gone into getting to this moment since 2019's successful season. Obviously the bubble, injuries, COVID, we're still in a pandemic, and this is probably the most normal we've had a season since 2019. Just what have you learned from players who have consistently been here since that 2019 season of then versus now and preparing for tomorrow?
That's a lot, Megan. I don't know. I think about this a lot in terms of a bunch of different stuff, but it's really hard to build something and really easy at this level for it not to go well. So you have to really, I think as we've built this roster and we've thought about how we want to approach camp, really just putting the pieces one after the other, making sure they fit together, making sure that we spend time building the relationships within the team on and off the court, because I think that's kind of the bedrock that the rest of it can be built on. We know anything can derail it. Injuries can derail it. You can have bad luck, whatever else. You can't control certain things, but we just want to make sure we have quality people here that care about each other and that believe in the same things as a basketball team. And I think we have that vibe anyway right now.
Going into the game tomorrow, I know you have a game plan, you want to go in and do certain things, but the game kind of dictates what kind of adjustments need to be made in game. At the end of the game tomorrow, if there were two things that you could identify as these are the things that we want to come out of the game looking like, what would those two things be for you guys?
I think we want to look connected defensively. Starting in transition, that's been a big focus of camp, is our transition defense and taking care of the ball in the rim in transition. And then I think offensively playing with a tempo and I don't even mean necessarily fast break transition tempo, but having a crispness and sharpness to how we get into our offense and how we move the ball. So just that sense of connection on both ends of the floor.
Hey, Coach, just two quick questions for you. One is, I saw you out there running with the team. Just to be that close.
Sorry to see that.
Just talk about that intensity you've seen throughout this training camp from your squad.
Yeah, there's a real sense of urgency, and I think when we, without making it too big picture, when you see somebody like Elena and Alicia working back from what they've worked through, I think it's hard to be somebody else and not be giving it everything you got when you've seen that struggle for those two to get back ready to play. So we have naturally intense people. Tasha's a naturally intense person. Ariel Atkins, though she's quiet, approaches her work with intensity. So I think it's just that feeling of, hey, I'm not going to let the person next to me down. I got to bring everything each day, even on a day like today where we might not be live for 2 hours, that you got to have a mental focus and sharpness when you walk in.
And my last one for you was you got to see Roy for this whole camp. What were your impressions? What did you like from her?
I'm just glad that she has come in and played like herself. I think that's been the biggest thing. She came a week late and is not behind in knowing our plays, knowing our defensive concepts. She's trying to play calls in English. I mean, she's thrown herself completely into it. We know she can pass. We've talked about her staying aggressive, looking for her own shot as well. And she's just really coachable. She knows how to play. You don't even have to say much else to her, but you put her in a pick and roll and you're going to get a good play out of it. So just her being herself and not thinking she's got to come in and defer or change her game, anything like that. She'll learn the league as she goes, but just she jumped in with both feet.
All right, we'll go over to Zoom. Jen?
Hey, Eric, good to see you.
Hey Jen, how are you?
I'm good. Building off that last question, with both Tosh and Rui on the roster, I'm curious how you see them kind of complementing each other and how Rui being here lets you do different things as far as having one of them on the court versus the other versus maybe even playing together some.
Yeah, I think we're going to try a little bit of everything. I think back to when we had Tosh and Christy, and the first year one backed the other, and then they played together, and we kind of did the same thing with our bigs where I think if you look at our first few games, we played a big lineup. It wasn't great by the numbers, but they got used to playing with each other. So we'll try to take a longer view and let some chemistry develop. It might all not click immediately, but 2 or 3 games, whatever, is a small sample, even a couple weeks of practice. But I think they'll complement each other because I don't know if we have a ball-dominant guard on our team, even though Tosh has been the point guard and sets people up. We're going to have to do, the creativity is going to have to be spread amongst the guards and our bigs. So they complement each other in that, Tosh is a point guard who's going to push the pace, allows Ariel to attack more defenses kind of on the second side of the floor, either to catch and shoot or attack closeouts. And then we've talked a lot in the past about how they complement each other defensively. So just easing the burden on each other. They can take different types of matchups defensively. And then Rui obviously gives us another ball handler and a natural sub for Tosh, and also we can play them together.
And then last thing for me with Elena, maybe being a little bit in and out of the lineup to start, and Alicia, coming back but not positive when she will play. Do you feel like the team is in a good place in terms of knowing how to play with them versus without them and kind of deal with the potential shifts in lineup that might be happening early in the year?
I think it helps that they're both pretty much practicing full every day. And that's been the last week, and I think we've got several that have played with Elena a lot, which makes that easier. Alicia, as you've watched her career, has been just a glue type player, so I think she is just really, really skilled at adjusting and picking her spots. Her shot selection's always good, so I don't think she's a particularly difficult one to play with.
Thank you.
All right, that's all the time we got today. Thank you, sir.
All right.
When you're ready.
Still good. Keep starting.
Kareem.
I'll go. 2 weeks, training camp is all done, even more than 2 weeks, but as a leader on this team, is there a word that you say to the group as you guys depart and get ready to start this thing tomorrow?
No, honestly, I feel like Elena said it in our huddle before practice today. It feels good coming into work every day. We're excited to be back. The culture and environment that we have, this training camp is by far the best that I think we've had in 8 years. Everyone gets along. Everyone literally enjoys being around each other, challenging each other, learning from each other, and getting better. And when you can kind of cultivate that environment in your locker room and your family in this organization, there's going to be ebbs and flows of the season. But if your culture is good, then the schemes, doesn't matter what's happening. We're going to make mistakes, but because we care about one another and we're fighting for one another, we're going to be able to make up for those mistakes throughout the season. And so I'm just excited. I'm excited for tomorrow.
Like you said, even though there's a lot of familiar faces, this isn't 2019 anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So what are the biggest strides that you think you've made in this camp so far?
Week 1 we were like, oh shit, this is it might be a little rough. But I'm really proud of how we bounced back, especially at that Atlanta game. I think they gave us a little punch in the mouth, a little wake-up call. And it really just reset us and allowed us to get back to work and focus on the little details that are in the grand scheme of things going to be the big details. And so these last 2 weeks, it's crazy how much better we've gotten. Even today at practice, we had a short practice when they were like, huddle up. We were like, wait, y'all kidding? Where the cameras at? But they were like, no, we're getting in, we're getting it done, we're understanding concepts, our focus is great. And when you can do those things, we don't need to go for long periods of time, and that's going to make the world of a difference in a season that's so compact like this one. To really just get in, get our work done, understand the schemes, and then get off of our feet.
Perfect. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Natasha, what has impressed you the most that you've seen from day one to this point in time now with your teammates and the coaching staff? What has been impressive to you?
The self-correcting.
Mm.
It's not even like they have to coach that much because of who we have. Again, that environment that we've created, that culture that we've created, we're self-correcting. You know, if me and Maisha are involved in something and we mess it up, it's like, hey, this is what I was doing, what were you doing, and what can we do to make it better? And then we do it better. So I think I'm most impressed with how quickly we've picked up, how quickly we've been learning, gelling together, and then self-correcting.
Thank you.
Tosh, with understanding what Marianne Stanley's philosophy is as a coach, and with Indiana coming in tomorrow with a really young, exuberant group, what are you anticipating from that matchup?
They're rebuilding. I think Indy did a great job with their draft. They got some really good picks. They're playing well. Their preseason games they played really well. And they're just young, hungry players. So we're expecting them to, there's going to be a lot of running around tomorrow. There might be chaos at points because they are a young team that's trying to figure it out. But as an older vet group now, we're going to punch y'all in the mouth. Yeah, welcome to the league. We're glad y'all had y'all moment. But you got some dogs in this locker room. You got some dogs on this court. And we're excited to give you your first little punch.
Thank you.
Yeah. I know until everybody's here, you may not know exactly what type of team you're going to be, but what do you anticipate, especially the defensive end, you guys will be able to do later in the season maybe as opposed to now?
I know we're doing it. Day one starting tomorrow, but we're going to be disruptive. We're going to allow our defense to bring our offense. That's when we're at our best. Our offense is amazing. I mean, y'all know we run very similar offensive schemes to Golden State, and it's all options and reads and just playing and gelling with each other. But what we really want to do is get stops, disrupt on the defensive end, and then just allow our defense to bring our offense, get out in easy transition, get shots. And we can do that. We have a scary good defensive team. That we're getting up, we're pressuring, we want to bully people, we want to push them out of what they want to do offensively, and we've done a really good job. We also have a really great scout team this year, like probably the best scout team that we've had, and so they put a lot of pressure on us, and they're going to make us better.
How switchable do you think you all could?
1 through 5.
Yeah.
1 through 5, we can switch if we need to.
Hey Josh, I know we've been talking about you being a shooter.
I'm a shooter. I'm a shooter.
When you look at your camp, is it anything else that we should be looking out for you that you've added to your game?
I think AU, Athletes Unlimited, really brought out my dog. And so everyone knows me, I'm a competitor. I'm going to do what I need to do, but like I'm really a dog this year. And a lot of people are like, oh, she's really cocky. No, I've been humble too long, and now my dog is brought out of me. So I'm going to make sure y'all remember me and that I leave my mark not only on this organization, but this league.
And then also, how cool is it that you're having your home opener here at ESA in front of your fans? Just talk about what you're most looking forward to.
Man, I'm so excited to be back with our fans. ESA is one of the hardest. We never had that at Capital One. We couldn't sell it out. It was really hard to feel like you had a home court advantage. When we're playing here at ESA, teams are scared to come in here. And that makes a world of a difference to have that kind of just environment to play in. It's electric. Our fans are completely in it with us. We are the best fans in the WNBA. I truly believe that. Been with us through the ups, the downs, the ugly, and still, supporting and rocking with us. So I'm just excited to be back on our floor. I tweeted it last week after the mini exhibition game, but it felt so good to be back in ESA. Again, like when you can have that home court advantage, it makes a world of a difference in your season.
And then, if you could find me one word that describes this Washington Mystics team, what would that word be?
I don't think there's one word to describe us. I feel like we've been trying to figure out, people keep asking us like, what's your identity this year? Because we typically have a word. But honestly, we've just come in and done our work this year. And so, workhorse.
Appreciate you.
Tosh, what can we expect from you? What can we expect from you shoe-wise? Your kick game is always crazy. So I need to know.
Okay, coming with the heat, okay? Converse, period. But no, we have some new models coming out. I also have some new clothing coming out that I've been doing with them. So you're gonna see a shirt tomorrow, so y'all better stay tuned. But I'm just, I feel like look good, play good, feel good, and then they pay good, right? That's what they said?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But no, to have y'all know what Converse means to me, and to have a company that truly believes in me, and supports me, and, like, they'll come to me with player exclusive shoes, and I haven't even told them anything yet. They just base it off my social media and, like, knowing me, and I'll be like, y'all love you some Tosh. Y'all hit this shit on the point. So I'm just really excited for y'all to see what they cooked up.
Thank you.
Of course.
All right, I think we'll go over to Zoom for Jen.
Is that Jen?
How are you? With Batman coming back tomorrow, I surprised her with this number.
I put the bat signal out.
Am I really loud?
What'd you say, Jen?
So with Elena being back, I surprised her with this, but it's actually her first season opener since 2018.
Oh, wow.
So it's been a while.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because of her.
Where was she in 2019?
You guys held her out for a knee injury. I think it was dating back to the 2018 playoffs.
That's okay, she's still MVP.
So, how does that feel for you, finally having her back, like, at the start of the season to be with you guys from the jump?
Yeah, I think, obviously, we can talk about Elena, Donne, the basketball player, and she's the best player in the world. I'm always going to say that regardless of what she's gone through. But I think as far as that's my Batman to my Robin type of thing, like, I'm just so happy for Elena to be back and to be healthy. Seeing her go through these last 2 years, coming in, being in the gym at 5 a.m., staying for our practices even when she wasn't playing, and then going back to get treatment, get her body right, and leaving. She would be in here from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m., and that was her daily routine. And when you see your franchise player, doing everything that she needs to do to be back on the floor, going through those frustrations, going through kind of the trial and errors with it, to see her kind of come, this is, to fruition, to come back on the court and to play. I don't care as far as the basketball standpoint as the human part of me. Like, I'm so happy for her. I'm so proud of her relentlessness in the approach. It just it speaks volumes on who she is, how her family raised her, and who she is for this organization, for our team.
And then just real quick, wanted to ask you about Rui. We asked her the other day about playing with you, and she said she wished she spoke more English so she could, like, pick your brain more. And
I know, Rui. I know. I'm trying to learn some words here and there so I can talk to her. But Rui has been, like, exceptional. She came in. She only had, like, half her practice before she even played in that Minnesota exhibition game. And she fits perfectly. She fits perfectly into what we're doing. She's a phenomenal player. She picks up shit, like, really quick. She knows all of our plays. She's only been here for about a week. Knows all of our plays, all of our sets. Knows the names, the signs for them. Just is a ball of energy. Just good to be around all the time. And her game, the ability to have another primary ball handler makes my job a lot easier. She passes the ball phenomenally. She can get to the basket, score easily, and then she gonna pick your ass up 90 feet from the basket. I ain't gonna do all that. I'm gonna meet y'all at half court. But we gonna get you up there, all right?
One of your teammates said that Rui might be faster than you. True or false?
Oh, for sure. I think she's probably the fastest person in the league. I'm not even going. If we sprinted straight ahead, I would just be like, you got it, Rui. We don't even need to test it. You got it.
Awesome. Thanks, Tosh.
Thanks, Jen.
All right, Tosh, that's it. Appreciate your time.
All right, see y'all later. I'll see y'all tomorrow.